From Creamer Media in Johannesburg, this is the Real Economy Report. A number of South African academic teams hope to gain invaluable knowledge and skills by racing 7 locally built solar-powered vehicles against more experienced international teams in the 11-day 5,400-kilometre Sasol Solar Challenge, which kicked off in September. Natasha Odendaal has the story.
Sasol Solar Challenge South Africa, in which 13 mostly academic teams competed, aimed to educate and develop skills in the areas of science, innovation and engineering, while exploring new energy technologies such as solar and new age batteries. 7 locally built and 2 internationally constructed solar-powered vehicles, as well as 4 others, known as the technology fleet, such as hybrid and electric-powered vehicles, travelled over 5,000 kilometres throughout South Africa over an 11-day period. Local teams included first-time entrant Nelson Mandela Metropolitan University and the University of Johannesburg, competing against 2-time solar champions, Japan-based Tokai University, as well as former Tokai driver Kenjiro Shinazuka with his own team. The other competing academic institutions besides others were the University of KwaZulu-Natal, the Tshwane University of Technology, the University of Witwatersrand and the Northwest University. Race Director Winston Jordan, NMMU Team Leader Matthew Fish and UJ Mechanical Engineer Nikki Janssen van Rensburg tell us more.
It started in about 2005, where I was involved in an electric vehicle company developing electric vehicles, and we were struggling to find local expertise. We were struggling to get people to understand how good electric vehicles are and how efficient electric vehicles are, and certainly we're struggling to find universities that were prepared to do projects in the space. So we started looking what's happening in the countries that are really getting successful electric vehicle programs off, and we realized that one of the things that we felt was a strong contributor is what you're getting within a solar race. So from grid cars, we then took it and we said, well, this is where we would like to be, so in order to get that, we've got to promote something. And we contacted a group called the Advanced Energy Foundation and presented the project to them, and in 2007 we went over as observers on the Australian race, and 2008 ran the race here in South Africa for the first time. And then it wasn't very well supported, but we had our 4 cars and we went along with it anyway, and had very good support from Engineering News for that event as well. And then 2010 it stepped up. We had 7 vehicles and started getting a lot more of an international profile, and to this year with 13. In total there are 9 solar cars competing, 2 of which are international and 7 are local teams. And then we've got 4 other cars that are called the technology fleet, which is vehicles that are just trying to demonstrate some form of advanced technology. So we've got electric vehicles there, we've got hybrids, we've got hybrids using gas, hybrids using hydrogen. So that's sort of the variation of vehicles that are in that class. It's fairly expensive for the teams to put the class together, but in spite of that expense, we've seen a lot of investment going into research in the university. So it's really up in that industry, and we've seen a lot more excitement in the electric vehicle industry and the technology around electric vehicles.
It's about giving the guys the learning experience, developing these skills. That's why our sponsors like Eskom and Siemens are involved, and MTN getting involved to really develop skills, and TIA as well. It's more about the skills development and developing engineers that have a strong focus on sustainable engineering, and that we think about what we're doing, how we're managing energy, making it lighter, more efficient, and that's the race is about that, getting it as light as possible and efficient as possible.
First goal is to finish the race, to actually have built this vehicle and make it across the finish line all in one piece. We had to teach ourselves suspension dynamics and to working with composites. We had no idea how to work with carbon fibre, and we had to teach ourselves, and I think at the end of the day we are now carbon fibre experts almost.
Other news making headlines this week: Minister Gigaba promises to use leverage at state firms to bolster the automotive sector's competitiveness, and structural inequality constrains the prospective micro-enterprise sector. Public Enterprises Minister Malusi Gigaba has committed state-owned companies Transnet and Eskom to playing their part in raising the long-term competitiveness of South Africa's automotive industry, and has also promised to facilitate near-term deals that will alleviate constraints to further growth and investment, including the divisive issue of port charges.
We are prepared to unlock the balance sheets of our customers and clients to to ensure that SOCs are able to invest beyond what their balance sheets can afford, and to enhance the and to expand their capacity. So nothing is close to us in terms of the capacity provision for this and other sectors.
Enduring structural inequality, a remnant of the apartheid state, has continued to present the most marginalized of South African society with a major barrier to entry into the micro-enterprise and informal sectors.
Key legacies of apartheid make inequality in South Africa deeply structural. To refer to these legacies is not to avoid the question of why in 18 years so little has changed in that regard. The fact is that structural inequality has not been removed and in fact is being reproduced in new and complex ways.
That's Creamer Media's Real Economy Report. Join us again next week for more news and insight into South Africa's real economy.